Hey there, welcome to Better Assholes. Today we have an interesting topic that has been on my mind for some time, and that is one of our favorite services ever, our favorite social media. I'm lying. Please don't quote me on any of that. I lied. Is Twitter, X, as it's called now, Elon Musk's X. Now, Twitter sucks. X sucks. I don't know. I think people are doing Mastodon. Is that what it's called? It sucks. Blue Sky sucks. All these services suck. I don't know how you people use this. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why have we moved all over the place to end up talking about Twitter or X? You know what? I don't know. I like calling it Twitter because people understand what I'm saying. You talk about X, if you walk in on the middle of the conversation, you don't know what anybody's talking about. Am I talking about a relationship X, X company, X this? X is usually, something that was in your past or a past tense, right? So it's one of those things. If I keep talking and keep on saying X, people don't know what I'm talking about eventually, unless I have the right context. It's so horrible. That was such a big branding and marketing mistake. It was nasty. So let's get back to why. I mean, it's not only me. And let me tell you something. I actually like it a lot better than most of the people that don't like it. But it has kind of always been sucks, like sucky, right? It's not even the word sucky. So here's the problem with X or Twitter. Now, Twitter used to have a phenomenal issue with being alt left mouthpiece, alt left, or ultra liberal, mega liberal, Democrat, sponsored, left leaning, leftist, whatever you want to call it, super liberals, right? So Twitter was a really tough place to be for quite a while. And some of the policies were so one sided. And so I remember being banned from Twitter a number of times. Actually, before it became X, I was actually banned for 4 or 5 years. And that was a horrible time because there was so much going on. I think that was during the Donald Trump years. I maintained a ban through those years. And then, I got unbanned, right? And then it became fun again. Now, let me tell you, before I got banned, I interacted with a lot of celebrities and, politicians and government officials and influencers. And so, I kind of was always on a center to right scale of things. And, you speak to a lot of people, complete liberals, and it was horrible, people that would never look at two sides of an argument, somebody that would never be able to not understand anything but what they really wanted to hear. I mean, and I guess maybe everybody's kind of guilty of that at some level, but it was really weird because Twitter was a service where the people that were a pain in the butt were the people that enjoyed Twitter tend to really enjoy it because they had certain privileges, and those privileges kept them using the service. Imagine your enemies, anybody that you didn't like or anybody you didn't like their opinion, as long as it was center to right, it was an instant ban, it was shadow banning. They were just removing people from the platform, excuses. There were times where people would just get into an argument with you and anything you responded. So if somebody said to you, hey, fuck off, and you said, hey, no, fuck off back to them, then they would complain to Twitter and say, well, this person told me to fuck off because of my gender or because I have a rainbow flag on my thing or whatever. So it came to a point where on Twitter, people will go out of their way to go after people on the other end of the conservatives and find anything on their account that they didn't agree with, report it, and that person would get banned, period, and no questions asked. If you were lucky, you just get a shadow ban. So this is how Twitter was a bit shady. remember, they banned Donald Trump and a number of other politicians and conservatives. So it was a pretty crazy place. The funny part is that a lot of people at the time said, well, you know, you can't just ban me from Twitter. And Twitter would say, well, it's a private service and liberals, so it's a private service. They can do what they want, whatever. Now, when Musk took over, that changed really quickly because when somebody would get banned, they say, oh, it's my right to be on it. It's my right to be on X. So they changed their tune really quick. Now, it has been kind of a night and day because it used to be super liberal. Now it's super conservative. It's not only super conservative, but it's kind of more on the free speech, out of control. And as much as I like anarchy and out of control and free speech, it does get interesting when people are just kind of using it to do everything from promote, specific agendas to, terrorism, to pornography, to, uh, all sorts of stuff. It's actually kind of weird at this point. And, a lot of people consider it to be very racist. A lot of, different companies are starting to pull their advertising away, pull their accounts away. And it's understandable because if you post something, somebody doesn't agree with your company or stance, then you get attacked and you get into that battle. There's no real moderation. The moderation on Twitter or X only works by somebody complaining and hoping that you have the right person who wants to take your complaint seriously. So you do have people that complain just to try to destroy your standing, destroy your account, but you do get people that do it as well because of actual concerns. Now, if you file a complaint, funny enough, it looks like sometimes you may be months, days, weeks, months before even somebody acknowledges it and does anything. So by that time, maybe the problem's over. So it's turned into really a dog eat dog world when it comes to X. But everybody, it's crazy because everybody. So it's extremely a lot of racism. It's extremely racist on X right now. And this goes for every nationality. So, I mean, what you're seeing here, I think more it's, a lot of white racists going against everybody else at this moment. But then you have a lot of people, because of the nature of Twitter, you have a lot of people fighting back now. So what happens is you'll have a lot of people say talk bad about, whether it's Chinese, whether it's Indians, whether it's black people, whether it's, whoever. And now those people are coming back and they know that, hey, if these people are being racist towards one group and they're not being stopped, then I guess it's a free for all. So now you're seeing more and more people being able to exercise their right to free speech and pretty much tell everybody what they think about their race and their country and why they shouldn't be in there. It's crazy. From a 1 to 10, I kind of rate using Twitter about a 2. It's interesting just to be, sometimes get that difference of opinion, to get riled up, to see the news that you're not seeing elsewhere, to kind of get that other glimpse. Everything you see in mainstream media is usually made up. So you see stuff on Twitter, you can see what the other side's making up. It's crazy. All the news everywhere, Twitter, on the news, mainstream media, and it sucks. It's all sucks. Well, not all made up, but I mean, a lot of it's phony and blown out of proportion. And this is why you see Twitter or X have such great popularity. Now, there has been a lot of people that have left. They say they leave. They have gone to Mastodon, Blue Sky, and other services that nobody really uses or people don't really use for the most part. So Mastodon using that service is, I guess a federated type of service. So everybody could run their own instance. And then I guess you could connect other instances and whatnot. But, the problem with Twitter, the problem with social media is most people want to be heard. They want an audience. And if you want to stand on your soapbox and get an audience, you're not going to get that from simply using a service with a few thousand people or 100,000 people. It doesn't, and nobody cares what you think at that point. So these services end up being a whole bunch of people blabbing on into an echo chamber, and only they see their profile and see themselves, and nobody else pays attention, gives them high fives or thumbs up or whatever they're looking for. So, they're easy to get. People just they sign up, they use it a few times, find out there's no incentive and leave. Right. The next one recently has been Blue Sky. And that looks like it's like a Twitter knockoff. And, liberals are toting this as the Twitter, the next Twitter, the place to be. Look at how many people we have on it. Look how much. And if you've ever been on it, basically it's just a liberal version of Twitter. So basically it's a bunch of liberals being, I guess, racist in their own sense towards conservatives, right? Like, being racist, being prejudiced, discriminating, talking shit. So it's the same thing. Imagine somebody said, hey, come over to leave X, come over to Blue Sky, and we'll have great conversations, and we're all civil, and we believe in science, and no Donald Trump, and no conservatives. And so you spend your whole time on the service on Blue Sky talking about LGBT issues, talking about anti-conservatism, anti-Trump, all the stuff that you see on Twitter. It's just opposite versions. So it's the same toxic discussions, just liberal toxic discussions. Now, when you go on threads just what I think what people went on there, and it's nothing really too interesting. It's so bland. And a lot of this blandness is you have all these services, whether it's Blue Sky, Twitter, X, this, that, Reddit, people all go on these services and they're looking for different things. I think on Reddit, a lot of people like the communities and they have hobbies and stuff, right? Twitter, a lot of people, it's, a lot of commentary, social commentary, political commentary, news, whatever. Facebook was connecting people. It started connecting groups and delivering news, and it's all over the place. It's not even worth it at this point. It was getting kind of decent with the news, but it turns out it's very, it's just getting worse in terms of toxic. It's a lot of, at this point, Facebook is basically woke white women. That's what the majority is. You get, some interesting groups or interesting people here and there. But if you look at a lot of the, it seems like a lot of men, they've left, Facebook for various reasons. If you're a guy and you're enjoying, different hobbies or whatever, I mean, I think most guys end up at this point, they're ending up on Reddit for a lot of their hobbies and, technical stuff or, anything in depth in any community. If you were on a forum, maybe you end up on Reddit, or if you're on IRC, end up on Reddit. So that's where that's been. Discord has had a lot, Discord and Twitch, maybe the gamers, a Blue Sky. It's just like liberals all over the place. Instagram is, wannabes. It's like all over the place. So sometimes it's better not to be on anything. I think maybe at this point, YouTube is the more interesting place to be, just because it is maybe a little bit more realistic at this point, in terms of, hey, you make some videos, you make a podcast, you make whatever, you speak your mind. If anybody has anything worthwhile, they'll leave you a comment or they'll say their piece or record another video. And it takes a little bit of skill and balls to do that than just have a bot do it, or, somebody just talking shit for no reason, right? In a channel. So it makes sense, at some point to just avoid social media in general. Now, when it comes to X, right, what does the future hold for this? There are so many ads when it comes to X. There are so many ads. Everything's an ad. So sometimes you click on a reply. It's not a reply. It's an ad. There's 5 or 6 ads as you're scrolling through, 5 or 6 ads on the comments, 5 or 6 ads for everything. You're looking at video, there's an ad, and they want you to subscribe to a blue check mark. So you have to pay money to subscribe, but it's the same shit. It's like, imagine paying to, I don't know, it doesn't even make sense. It just, you're paying. So right now on Twitter, you go on Twitter, you say something, nobody's going to listen to you. If you go on Twitter and you don't pay for it, you're basically not seeing all the new updated stuff. You're everything's all over the place. If you post something, nobody's gonna see your shit. If you post, maybe it's 1 or 2 people, it barely will ever come up. You have to beg. And then you pay for the blue check mark, the bottom scale one, like the entry level. And people will see your shit, you'll kind of exist or whatever, but you have to pay for the premium package to get the number 1 spot. So It makes no sense. Using Twitter makes absolutely no sense at this point because you don't get any value. You're not going to see the latest updates. If you respond, your response, nobody's going to see it. It's not going to show up. You're littered with ads. It's a horrible experience. It's fun sometimes to see, Elon's whatever he has to say. It's fun to see the memes. It's fun, whatever, but it's just a waste. X is one big waste, right? Blue sky's a waste. All the Twitter clones are a waste. Facebook's a waste. Instagram's a waste. It's getting hard in this day and age to find something that makes sense, and none of these make sense right now. So, unfortunately, it's hard to recommend what service to use, but just not Twitter, right? Or X. And, you know, as I've said, it's one of those things that, I mean, it can be a lot of fun, but it's such a waste of time. And if you look at it in 2025, if you're using a service that's really just taking advantage of you, they want you to be on their service, bolster their numbers, make it seem like they're a good, viable service so they can make money in advertising, but they don't want to give you anything. You're just a number and you're not getting any value. There's no value for you to use X at all, not one value at all. If somebody else is paying, maybe, but if you have to pay to get some quality out of it, it's not worth it. At least other services, at least other social media, even though they suck, if they have a paid package, the free plan is at least, you know what, you're not bombarded with ads. At least you can still use the service. Imagine using social media and they say you have to pay or nobody's going to see anything you type. It's all invisible. Somebody says, I'm going to go and I'm going to have a presence for my company. I'm going to have a presence, social media presence. No, you're not. You've reserved a name. If you have a good name on Twitter, if you try to register a new Twitter account and come up with a good name, it will stop you because if you don't pay, it's going to try to give you a crappy name. It's going to stop you from changing it to a good name. It's going to try to take the name that you wanted and assign it to some bot or something. It's insane. So if you don't want to pay for it, you're getting no value. That's how life goes in 2025. No value for even social media on the internet that should be absolutely free. Until next time, thanks for listening to Better Assholes.